Morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Connor McCurdy. I'm the founder and CEO of Gathering Insights. It's a telehealth-based platform for people with cancer to go on and get proper nutritional care during their treatment. So a little bit about me. I'm going to start a little bit further back than me being a senior here in Iowa. For the past however long I can remember, I wanted to be a doctor. Growing up, that's all I wanted to be. I wanted to help people, but the paycheck also seemed pretty nice. As I got into college, took the first 3 years of classes here. I was a bio major, getting ready to take the MCAT this summer, and this past semester I decided to take a business class just for fun. It changed things up a little bit, and turns out I came up with a business idea that one of my professors thought that was a good one. So got me into this summer program. Now, like I said, I'm a senior at the University of Iowa. And because I was going to go to med school, I have a lot of hospital experience. I have well over 2,000 patient care hours. And most of this time is spent with cancer patients. And I'm asked all the time why I think I'm qualified to build something for people with cancer, me not being a doctor. And I always say that it's because I've been around them for more time than a lot of doctors are. And I've learn what they need. They've told me the things that they need. I've listened to all of their stories, and I feel like I can truly help them. So moving into the 4 biggest problems that I've learned through my customer discovery since this summer and when I was working in the hospital. The biggest problem right now is that sorry. The biggest problem right now is that people don't have access to telehealth platforms for nutritional care. There are clinics out in the Western United States that do have this available to people, but it's restricted to people who only go to their clinic. So if I got cancer today and I needed to find out a proper nutritional plan, I could not go on their website and schedule an appointment. I would have to go out there, meet a doctor in person, and then they would enroll me in the program. Expense. The average cost of cancer treatment in the United States is $150,000. Now, depending on your health insurance, it varies how much you'll pay out of pocket. But by creating this with that focus in mind, I hope to partner with insurance companies who cover this treatment. Distance, like I said before, I'd have to travel all the way out to the West Coast to be able to enroll in a program like this. If I can make it available to people no matter where they live, they don't have to go to one clinic, I'm going to do it. And then nutrition, patients simply don't know what to eat. I was talking to this guy one time in his room and he was eating hospital food, but he wasn't eating it. He was just poking it around on his plate. I told him at least that he'll get to eat better food when he goes home. And he kind of just blankly looked at me and he was like, I won't eat better when I go home. So that made me sad because I love food. And know what to eat. So my solution for this is to customize diets for people. I'm going to hire nutritionists, bring them on, I'll meet with people online, and give them a custom diet. It's going to be easily accessible, so all resources are going to be found on my website, from scheduling a meeting to meeting your dietitian. And it's going to be affordable. I'm going to offer competitive rates to what these other cancer clinics out west do. Kind of base my pricing structure around that. So last year, there were 1.9 million new cancer diagnoses. About 40% of people who got diagnosed with cancer last year ended up passing, but the market is still huge. It was up 8.5% in 2020, which is devastating to hear, but it's still a sad truth. And that's 1.9 million people that need a new nutritional plan. So a little bit of the market potential. The telehealth global market is worth $70 billion right now. This more than tripled during COVID because everything had to go online and clinics were closed, hospitals were restricted to only COVID patients. It was a mess. And the nutritional market globally is only worth $1 billion. The United States accounts for about 40% of that at just over $400 million. So most people would see this and say it's the market is dried up, there's no opportunity there. But what I see is 1.9 million people every year, and that number growing, that do need nutritional care and who would be willing to pay for this. And that number is something that I could take over. So a little bit of my competition, believe it or not, my biggest competitor right now is cookbooks. A lot of dietitians suggest cooking out of cookbooks. This method doesn't really work for everybody. I mean, I like cooking out of cookbooks, but it doesn't, like my grandma, she has cancer and she hates cooking out of cookbooks. She does it all up here. The internet, people have access to virtually unlimited information, but they don't know what's accurate and what's not, what it is. A lot of people who would use a service like this aren't trained in nutrition. That's why they don't really understand it. And people believe anything on the internet. And I'm trying to fix that. And then like Mayo Clinic, for example, it's one of the most renowned hospitals in the world. They have a fantastic cancer program, as well as a pretty good nutritional program within their oncology department, but it could be better. So currently I am trying to talk to software developers to develop my minimal viable product, get some beta testing in, see if gain some traction. I'm meeting with potential partners. I've met with the oncologist, one of the head oncologists with the Cancer Care of Illinois. So they have a lot of clinics in their reach. And then I've done continual customer discovery. And believe it or not, I've done customer discovery in the most random places, just wherever I am and I talk to somebody. And then I'm consulting professionals in the industry. Like I said, I've been talking to a lot of oncologists and some nutritionists as of the last 2 weeks. But that's all I have for you today. So I'll open it up to questions.
You told the story of one of your patients and talking to him and how he said he wouldn't be that way when he gets home. Do you think it's like the other kind of insights that he needs, like what food is good for him? Or do you think it's the fact that maybe he doesn't have the time or abilities to cook the food?
Sure. So he was a younger guy. He was in his 30s. That's about all I can say about that. But the type of cancer that he had didn't prohibit him from completing daily tasks like cooking or doing laundry. And so I asked him, I was like, well, why aren't you eating well? Because I assumed that it was a money issue, but turns out he had no idea what to eat. Nobody told him. The nurses were doing the best that they could, but he had no idea what to eat. And I asked him, I was like, if you met with somebody, would you follow a diet that they put you on? And he said, absolutely. So that kind of motivated me to pivot towards this summer.
Yeah, I think like that seems like a problem, but I guess I'm thinking bigger of like, you have this kind of consulting about diets, but then maybe at some point it could be a partnership with like a food delivery service of like, here's a cancer friendly meal that's easy to cook or like ready to go. I think especially with elderly patients, like my grandma had one and like it was her to cook or like just getting groceries was a barrier, so she did like meals on wheels and stuff. So it's something to think about that can be considered.
Definitely. My parents' neighbors, one of them has cancer. My mom cooks all their meals for them.
Exactly. They don't have that kind of network.
Yep.
So I am the mom of a pediatric prescriber. So the one thing, the oncology team had zero things to say about nutrition and education about nutrition. So I thankfully had two very good friends of mine that were nutritionists and helped us through it and cook and prepare. And then it was my job then to teach my son on the things that he needed to eat and the reason he had to eat vegetables so that he could prevent the cancer from reoccurring.
Right.
So part of that education, and I feel like the MDs, they're not taught nutrition
At all.
and it is really hard. I've had more doctors look at me like that. Yeah, I'm like, no, it all starts in your gut. It all starts in your body. And the preventative medicine, or which But I think nutritionists, holistic doctors, things like that, that have access to people with, that are able to pay for such a service, would be really good partners to, they're gonna have patients that are diagnosed with cancer, and they're going to meet with an oncologist, but then look for alternatives. I think that they would be really good partners for you. Even looking at the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, American Cancer Society, and things like that for grant funding, to be able to get in front of the people that they're.
It's really good. And I'm happy your son is right now.
I think 9 years kids. Wow.
But back to your point, yes, doctors are not taught nutrition at all in college or med school rather. But there are thousands of studies out there that prove how important nutrition is. If you actually look it up online, go to Harvard's medical website, shows nutrition is the #1 most important thing during your cancer treatment and post-cancer treatment to keep it from reoccurring.
And preventive.
Great presentation. I just wanted to ask you, people also consider the psychological aspect of cooking, because the connection with patient, cooking movie also is distracted and cooking at home or you have possibility to need part of your
Yeah.
how you concentrate on one thing and you follow it up and you also see the result.
You're talking about using cooking as kind of a
Yeah.
therapy almost, like a distracting tool to.
Have you considered that?
Yeah, actually, that's the first time I thought about it that way. That's really good because most of the people that I've talked to about it, not people who would potentially use it, but just people that I know say that cooking would be a burden for people. But then whenever I ask the actual patients, they're like, no, we'll do anything we can right now to get better or better our chances during the fight for our life. And yeah, I think that could be a really good tool to use.
Could you share your go-to-market strategy?
Sure. So right now, the way it's looking after talking to a couple of different clinics, I want to partner with clinics who don't have nutritional programs. Not only will this give me a patient base to begin with, but it'll also give me the support and kind of let me piggyback off of the reputation of a lot of these clinics. So I don't have to work on building trust right out the gate. And then once I have that trust built and the success of treating a lot of patients, kind of helping them get better, then I can kind of start going out on my own and finding my own patients.
Then another question. What would you say your ideal sort of archetype for the nutritionist might look like?
For a nutritionist, like to hire. So preferably I would want to hire somebody who has experience taking care of cancer patients. I think, and especially I've talked to one nutritionist who was a cancer survivor. That's how they learned what to eat, that's what made them become a nutritionist, is they had cancer. And so I would love to hire people like that, just because they're, nobody knows something better than when they've done it themselves. So I think that would be a perfect nutritionist. Yeah. I have not yet, no.
That's where I was the EA, and then along with that, partnering these different programs that we have, small business administration. Put a vendor in, good brands, before we get a business partner.
Yes. I will absolutely look into that.
Questions?
Not hearing any other questions, I'll ask our traditional final question. What can we maybe do to help you?
I think right now, I just need to continue talking to people. So if anybody in here knows nutritionists, that's who I need to speak with right now mainly. I would love to, I'll hang around for a little bit afterwards and hopefully talk with some people. Excellent. Thank you very much.